All right. Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. And here we are again, back to our routine for this Thursday webinar. And today's topic is about tailored software solutions for solo practitioners and small firms. So, with this topic, we'll be talking about the tech needs for solo lawyers and small firms, the vital tech solutions, and of course, the budget friendly software solutions and the considerations. And at the end of it all, we will have a Q&A. But of course, if you're watching us on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, or on Twitter, just drop in your questions and we'll try our best to answer them because we have a special guest. So, for today, our guest is a seasoned legal professional admitted to practice in Jamaica and Missouri, USA. With 15 years of experience as a Jamaican lawyer, she covers diverse legal areas from criminal and family law to immigration and general legal consultancy. She regularly shares her expertise through online and in person presentations on various legal topics. She's also an author of legal publications and books on Caribbean history. And her commitment extends to volunteering with multiple organizations. So let's all welcome our guest speaker, attorney Nadine C. Atkinson Flowers.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Good afternoon, attorney. It's so nice to have you here, and thank you for your time. I heard the weather's a bit tricky down there.
Yes, indeed. We are having flurries. We've been having flurries all morning, and it seems as if it's going to threaten into the late evening. But we're here
Yeah,
to actually see it, so I suppose we will have to give thanks.
yeah, and it's the time of the year
Yes.
again, so it can't be helped. Okay, all right. Let's jump into the topic. Let's talk about technology in your legal practice. How did you start to, embrace technology?
Wow, that's 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 a tricky question. When I just started practicing, I started out as a prosecutor in Jamaica and prosecuted pretty much all of the uh, criminal offenses you can think about. And as I was working with the prosecution system, we began to recognize that we needed to have not just the requirements for the cases themselves, but we also had to have uh, systems related to administration, because with proper administration, you can streamline better, hopefully, with better streamlining. The cases can be dealt with in a more expeditious manner for all concerned defendants, victims, complainants, family members, the works. And so we began to ensure that we had certain administrative procedures put in place. I kind of utilized that as I went into private practice. And so when I went into private practice as a defense attorney, I ensured that I had my checklist. I was using the system everybody uses, Microsoft Suite. You
Mm-hmm,
can't go away from
mm-hmm.
Microsoft Suite. So, of course, as I transitioned to the USA and started my immigration practice, I still utilize my Microsoft Suite, especially when I'm doing presentations. I'm using PowerPoint. Sometimes I'm using Microsoft Publisher, always Microsoft Word. And
Mm-hmm.
of course, now that we're in the post COVID era, as it were, I'm utilizing a lot more of the video platforms that are available. And so it's been sort of a journey in
Mm-hmm.
terms of the decision making as to what technology I'm going to embrace. And a lot of it has been client driven because, for example, not all of my clients are comfortable with technology, are comfortable using Zoom
Mm-hmm.
or other video platforms. Some persons still want that in person connection. Some persons are saying, okay, it's better if I talk with you on the phone, especially if they're overseas, because I have clients all over the place here in the States, but also overseas. So a lot of the technology that I've embraced has been client driven. I've
Mm-hmm.
learned some of the technology because the clients have indicated, well, for example, we are living in Florida and I am in Pennsylvania. I am located in Pennsylvania. My client is saying, I'm in Florida. How can I pay you online? And from
Mm-hmm.
that experience, I started to examine software that could allow for online payment. So a lot of it is really client driven.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That is interesting. But I mean, the past 10 years, the advancement in technology has been faster than the years prior to that, right? Like right now, it just crosses borders easily, especially when it comes to payment, documentation, and pretty much getting things done,
Yes,
right?
that is so
Yeah.
true. That
Uh
is
huh. So usually, in like a lawyer's perspective, what would be like your checklist? Because of course, cybersecurity and data privacy is one of them. Like, what were the things that you were considering when you were looking at which technology to use?
well, I mean, you've literally hit it on the head. As much as things are going so much faster now, data privacy, client information, ensuring confidentiality, ensuring that client's information was not going to be falling into the wrong hands, that has always been very crucial. So a lot of the software, excuse me, that I have sought to utilize, I have always tried to check to make sure that the client's data is going to be kept confidential. And the clients nowadays are even more concerned because we hear about data breaches quite often.
Mm-hmm.
And I've tried my best to ensure that I'm doing the CLEs that are offered by the bar about how to ensure you have better data privacy, how to ensure you guard yourself against cyber attacks and that kind of thing. So that's always a big question, that's always a big concern. A lot of the software that I have utilized or I've asked about and read about emphasize that. And there are some software that I've utilized that annually they indicate that you need to do, I guess they call it a quality check. And literally, that comes in like clockwork for at least two of the software that I use. And you have to go through this very long checklist that they provide to indicate if you are utilizing all of the security features, if you're utilizing other security features to ensure that at the end of the day, client data is secure and your law firm is also secure.
Yeah, wow. That's very insightful. So just a very very quick break on, and just to give a disclaimer to everyone, our guest speaker holds an independent and unbiased position regarding software recommendations and does not represent our company or endorse any specific software product. Any insights, opinions, or experiences shared by the speaker are personal and do not reflect the views of our organization. Attendees are encouraged to conduct their own research and assessment when considering software solutions, as the webinar content does not constitute endorsement or liability for software choices made by individuals or firms based on information provided during this session. So, yes, just a quick disclaimer for everyone. So, we're here to help the solo lawyers and the small firms, especially since they're starting out. And right now, there's just a lot of choices. And as you mentioned earlier, that there should be a checklist. The due diligence does not stop from the cases you handle. It also should come across the tools that you choose to use. Um, so when you were starting out, let's go get a little bit into the retrospect. When you were starting out, what do you think were the mistakes, not necessarily done by you, but like the mistakes where you learned from, or the mistakes that you heard from your friends and colleagues on like choosing technology?
I think, especially as a solo, one of the things that happened to me early on, and sometimes happens even now if I'm not careful, is you want to use it all. I mean, you hear that there's a new software for
Mhm.
calendaring, for example, because I use a couple software for my calendars. And just last week, literally, somebody, another attorney and I were talking, and they mentioned that they use a particular software and in an app, and I'm like, I need to get that. So I had to kind of pull myself back and say, but do I really need it? So I think when
Mm,
you're just starting out, by by the very fact of you starting out, you perhaps have to recognize the constraints that are going to be there, financial, time, and will you
mhm,
actually have time to utilize every single bit of software that you are thinking you ought to get?
mhm,
I start out from the point that, do I really need it? Is it
mhm,
going to help me in the practice? As a solo, you're wearing so many hats. And
mhm,
wearing so many hats, is this particular software going to enhance the hats that I wear?
mhm.
Is it going to get me even more confused than I perhaps was before we started out? And so it's very important that I'm kind of intentional about
Mhm,
the software that I utilize, because too many things in terms of software, too many things in terms of apps can actually not inure to your benefit as a professional, and definitely doesn't enhance your client's experience. So I would say, if there's one mistake that I think I've made, and sometimes unfortunately perhaps still fall into that trap, it's thinking, oh, I must have that new shiny bit of software, which
Oh.
is not necessarily going to help me. Uh,
Mhm,
that's
mhm.
one takeaway that I would definitely offer to a new
I see.
practitioner. Or
Like, yeah, I guess it's like the curiosity getting the best of you. Like, oh, what's that? I want to try it too. Why is everyone doing it? And why am I
indeed,
not doing it? Mhm.
exactly. Why don't I have that new shiny toy?
Yes,
Yes,
especially if they're offering like a free trial. Like, ah, it's risk free. I don't need to pay anything. I might as well try. And before you know it, it's eating your time. It's making you frustrated, and you've less things done.
yes, that
Instead
is
of
true.
getting more done, the technology has delayed you just because you got curious and got carried away.
Yes, absolutely. It happened to me so many times, that I've had to stand back and say, hold on, do you really need that? And you're so
Mhm.
right about free trials. Free trials are great. I love them. But not every free trial is going to enhance the practice. And
Mhm.
when the solo lawyer is wearing all of the hats that the solo lawyer does wear, it becomes important that you recognize the tools that help your practice and the tools
Mhm.
that help your clients.
Mhm. Wow, that's very, very helpful. Like this decision making process, this learning curve that you just shared is very, very insightful. So now that you've checked and learned about how you react to software and the new stuff and the new technology, um, what would make you convince like, oh, this one I actually need, or this one I don't. Like, how do you shortlist what you keep and what you don't?
All right. Well, as a solo and an attorney who has had various types of experiences, one of the ways in which I actually make my shortlist is can it help my client? So, for example, today I had a meeting with a client, and it was funny because she thought we were using a particular platform. I thought we'd explained it and we were going to use another platform. It turns out we eventually just went with the telephone because literally it would have taken too much time to for her to
Transmit.
download what she thought we were using and vice versa. So
Mm-hmm.
I find that the main thing on my client's mind is what drives my shortlist a lot of the time. Certainly for like the video
Mm-hmm.
discussions or discussions in general with clients. What drives and makes the shortlist for me, for example, for my immigration forms, is how robust the immigration form software is. So, for example, there are some software that are automatically updated when USCIS updates their forms. Now, that's a beautiful thing because it
Mm-hmm.
means I don't necessarily have to go and check that the edition date is correct because the software has already done it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I wish perhaps to be very torturous to myself, and I'll go and and I will check it. But you do have a few software, especially some of the older ones, and I've used a few of those where they don't necessarily provide you with an update. So that can be very problematic because if you are an immigration practitioner and you submit an incorrect form, that can have very far reaching consequences in terms of the edition date.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You're responding, for example, to something that has a deadline,
Yes.
you fail to submit within the deadline time period, that is going to be a very difficult conversation that you're going to have with your client. So that's one
Mm-hmm.
thing that I try to make sure that happens. Another thing has to be, I think, that would make the shortlist in terms of, for example, an accounting software. I
Mm-hmm.
I am not an accountant. I barely passed accounts when I was in law school because it was a course I had to take. So I'm no accountant. So I need an accounting software that's easy because we are getting ready for tax season, and really your accountant
Uh,
does not want to see a box of receipts.
oh, they're gonna hate you.
Exactly. So if you have one of the many accounting software that are out there, it's important that you can understand, you're snapping receipts, or you can see what your earnings are at any given moment. You can see what the invoices are that are outstanding. I know that some attorneys, for example, they will probably have fee agreements, fee structures. To my mind, the accounting software that you use ought to be able to capture a lot of those things. And that also will be captured in if you use an online software, for example, to accept payments. So those things to me would definitely make my shortlist. Of course, I love Microsoft Word and I write a lot. I do a lot of articles, a lot of webinars just like this. And I
Mm-hmm.
always start off in Microsoft Word. So I cannot leave our conversation without saying, make sure, make sure
Yeah.
that you have that in your back pocket. And a lot of persons utilize their phones these days. So
Mm-hmm.
you need to make sure, I think, when you're thinking about a short list of your various types of legal software, that it's something that you can actually utilize your phone for. So I have my phone right here with me because
Mm-hmm.
I may not have my computer all the time, and
Yeah.
there's some bits of software that you're going to utilize that is going to be difficult to see on your phone. And
Mm-hmm.
if you're in the airport or whatever, somewhere that you need to do something very quickly for a client or for your office, it's easily done if you have your phone. I mean, there's an app for that.
Yeah.
Literally a thing. There is an app for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, right now, things are getting fast paced, and people are expecting people to be responsive wherever they are, and we can't really blame them. Sometimes you'd have your laptop, but it's running out of battery, and you still need to check something and get over a phone call. So the best way to just use your phone and see it from there. So if it's not helping you from that side of technology, then it's gonna be challenging.
Yes.
Um, so just one more question, because I heard that you have a very tight schedule, and I'll have to let you go in the next few minutes. In terms of like budget friendly, how do you look at value versus like cost? Like, do you override, like, okay, I'm gonna take the more expensive one because this is more helpful, or like especially for solo lawyers, or would you go for the budget friendly and just wait up until you could like financially say that okay, I could afford the bigger one?
Well, since it's just you and I talking, I will tell you that there's been times that I've gone over budget. But if I'm using a software and it's easy for me, I'm in love with that software forever. I will use it. But if I'm using it and it's aggravating me and I can't understand and I have to be calling a help desk and I just don't know what I'm doing, then I'm not going to stay with that one.
Mm-hmm.
So there are going to be times when I my rational mind tells me that I really need to remain within the budget, but it's it doesn't make sense because at the end of the day, I'm spending too much time utilizing software X when I perhaps should just go ahead and use another one, which might be a little more expensive. But one of the things that I've learned is when I'm looking at software cost, legal software cost, you always check to see if, for example, your bar will help with a discount. Lots of
Mm-hmm.
bars offer discount for legal software. So you go on your bar website and you see what the offerings are
Mm-hmm.
and see if you can utilize the discounts that might be there. Um, the ABA certainly has a robust
Yeah.
number of sections and
Partner.
groups and committees. And if you join
Mm-hmm.
some of those, when you get the emails, they'll tell you, oh, there is a discount available if you use software A, software B. I found those resources to be invaluable. And of course, from time to time, you will get offers on your website or in your inbox. And of course, always ask a colleague. The software, some of them that I've used have come by way of recommendation from colleagues. And as a solo lawyer, it's kind of a lonely place. So it's always good to network and to learn what other lawyers have done, learn from their mistakes. And I found a lot of lawyers have been quite generous with their time and
Mm-hmm.
sharing their experiences. And having done that, you can also pay it forward, which, I've tried to do that as well. You don't necessarily have to make some of the mistakes that your colleague made where these things are concerned.
Yes, especially the expensive ones, the ones that
Yes.
took your time. Because what people don't think is like, oh, this is not expensive because it's cheaper, but it's taking your time, which is
Yes.
much more expensive than the money that you saved from it.
That's
Okay, all right. Yeah, so thank you. Thank you for paying forward and sharing your experiences, Attorney Nadine. Um, I guess I would have to let you go in the next couple of seconds. So is
in
there
about
any
2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes.
yeah, so is there any socials, email, website that you'd like to plug? I heard you have a book,
Oh,
so
yes,
the floor is
actually,
yours.
I have 4 books. I The latest book I've written, it's called "On Your Feet: Criminal Law Practice in the Jamaican Courts." Because as I told you, I'm also admitted to the bar in Jamaica, and what's that done for me is very impactful because it's allowed me to assist other U.S. attorneys whose clients have matters in Jamaica, whether it is they need to get their civil documents or if they need to get documents from the courts. I have been able to assist them with expert opinions on various aspects of law in Jamaica. So that's been quite impactful and interesting. I'm on Instagram at Atkinson Flowers Lawyer. I am on LinkedIn. I have a website, Atkinson Flowers Law. My number is 484-995-7260. I have a YouTube channel where I share educational tidbits about US immigration and Jamaican law as well. And I have a virtual practice, I'd like to say, but I also have a physical space because there are persons who are still, um, I would say, more comfortable meeting and greeting in the physical space as opposed to the virtual space. But I thank you very much for inviting me on your program. I usually watch it every week.
Thank you so much to Attorney Nadine. That was very, very helpful and very, very insightful. So, yeah, we'll send you off your way to your errands.
Thank you
Thank you so
very
much.
much and all the best. Have yourself a great afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
You too.
Take
Keep safe.
care. Bye bye.
All right, guys. So we are still proceeding with the rest of our webinar, but this time we're going to talk about some of the technology and the solutions where we could also help you out. And with me, I will be joined by one of my colleagues, Yumi. So, Yumi, um, let's talk about the tools that lawyers and law firms, because you yourself you've handled law firms for like social media, um, SEO, and like digital campaigns. Walk me
Yeah.
through the technology and how these tools have been helping in terms of managing your marketing needs.
All right. Thank you, Jessica. And hi, everyone. Glad to be here today. Okay, quickly. First of all, I would love to say in every business, you actually need that digital footprint. You need people to know about your business, right? And that also um, implies that your law firm actually needs to be seen and to be heard digitally. A lot of people actually still go on traditional marketing, but you can't beat digital marketing, right? You can actually measure a whole lot of things. You can target your direct audience. You can actually measure your point of engagement, where they're engaged. You can
Reach.
actually join the community. Yeah, exactly. Your reach, lots and lots of reach, right? So it's actually very instrumental in law firms by experience, and I would say tools that we use. Oftentimes, we're talking about Google Analytics. That is for you to know people coming to your website, or coming to your landing page, where they went to, what they clicked, what actually interests them. Right? You can even know how many seconds they spend on a particular page on your website. Right? So Google
Mhm.
Analytics does a whole lot of things. And there's this tool also that I'm sure a lot of people do not know about, which is Microsoft Clarity. Microsoft Clarity actually shows the heat map on your website. For instance,
Mhm.
maybe people actually do click on a particular service oftentimes. So you see a heat map. That place actually changes to red, means there are a lot of click on that part. So this gives you insights in either dishing out good content in that regard, or telling you people are liking this content and the other. Now, if people are bouncing off from a particular side, it means you need to rework that part of your content. So yeah,
Mhm.
that's it.
Mm-hmm. And like these tools, these are not expensive, right? Like these are just the basics.
No, very very basic. I can remember Google Analytics is actually free.
Free. Yes.
And yeah, and Microsoft Clarity is also free. That's Microsoft Clarity is like analytics, but of course Microsoft. Google Analytics is owned by Google, so you can even have both of them on your website to track and able to know your success rate.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yes. That's very, very interesting because I think what I guess, non-marketers think of digital marketing tools is you'll have to pay when actually there's a lot of free tools out there. Even Meta has analytics, correct?
Yeah, yeah, that's correct.
Mm-hmm.
That's correct.
As long as they have it on a Facebook page, not on a personal account, they could use technology to their leverage, especially when they're
Mhm.
doing, building their clients, their network. And the good thing about this versus traditional marketing it gets us to specific reach, right? Like it gets you to what location you want to capture, and yeah, that is helpful.
Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing about this is the thing about digital marketing is you can actually target wherever, whenever you want to target, right? Talking about as small as targeting a town, even in the zip code, you can target a place in the zip code, right? Like for instance, you
Mm-hmm.
just want to target a place in New York. We're talking like maybe Jackson Heights in New York. You can pick a zip code and maybe that's where your business is. You're servicing people in Jackson Heights in Queens in New York, right? You can just actually pick that zip code and use it for your your ads, and your
Mm-hmm.
ads actually would circulate only in that place, so you don't have to waste money just blowing it around like the traditional marketing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And even on like organic, if you have your Google My Business and it's
Hmm.
you've specified your proper location, it's gonna get the right radius. Same with Facebook.
Exactly,
Like if you put the
exactly.
right address, it's gonna help those who are nearby looking for a service to suggest you. And you don't even need to pay for this. This is something like solo lawyers or small firms can start on. And as you grow, that's when you could do the paid ads.
So I feel solo lawyers and small law firms actually need digital footprints. It's just the way to go because it's not going to be easy you having to do take cases and also want to do your marketing, going to places to places, going around the normal traditional marketing. You can't even measure that. You can measure that you are just actually going around and it might actually not really be measured, right? But with digital marketing, you can, even while you are in your office, even while you're at home, from your social media, you can actually reach a whole lot of people starting from your network. You can even key into communities, right? There are lots of communities on Facebook that you can key into. Just share. Of course, sometimes I used to tell people, don't appear too salesy, right? First of all, try and let people understand what you do, right? Let them know what a problem is. Then you can bring a solution. Marketing is letting people know a problem, then you're not telling them I have the solution. It's going to be easy when you're able to tell people, okay, this is your problem and I can actually solve it. Now imagine having this on your social media. Imagine having this on Google. Imagine having this, you know, round like we call it 360 digital marketing. It's easy. Everybody walk around with their phones nowadays. Everyone even move around with their laptops. So it's
Yeah.
easy for people to actually locate you, right? Especially when you even have Google My Business, just like you said. Yeah.
Yes, and the community is also there's also community online. Like there are reviews, there are
Yes.
insights, there are experiences shared by other people. They tag your business, they mention you. You could appear on search from someone else's content just because they shared something and it got traction and all that. But yeah, I don't want to get too technical about this because the solo lawyers will get like, wait. I'm just starting out my legal practice. I'm still getting things done on my cases and they're giving me jargon here. So let's not give them all
Mm,
the jargon. This is exactly why we at My Legal Software, we make sure that we have an affordable package for those who want to start off. We also just answer questions. Just drop it on our inbox. Just leave us a message. Our website. It's mindlegalsoftware.com, or you could just reach us on Facebook or wherever you're watching this, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube. Just drop a message, drop a comment. We are going to try our best. And if we have not replied, then just comment again. We are definitely going to see it. I promise. I promise we're going to see it. And we are going to help you from there. If you have questions on the tools, especially when you're just setting things up, and we're not saying that you cannot do this. You can. You could do this on your own. What we can help you with is, analyzing the data later, reading why you're getting this decline, or giving you insights on how we could increase, especially if you've reached like a plateau. Like, why am I not adding more followers? It's been months and I'm not getting engagement again. So yeah, that's where my legal software could help you. And Yumi's a part of my team. So for anyone who has questions, we are gonna wrap up very soon. So just drop them all here, and we are gonna try our best to answer it. And if not, we can be in touch with you um, over a direct message or a private message, or just comment over your questions. So, Yumi, with
Yeah.
your handling of um, like legal practitioners, what is usually the challenge of them adapting to technology, specifically like digital marketing?
Okay, so to be fair, a lot of legal practitioners are, I would say, usually not in the digital space. I feel they are just actually coming up gradually when, of course, they see that all businesses actually need that digital footprint, right? And
Mhm.
they need to actually change that way, right? You understand lawyers, they read on something and it goes on and on like that. But sometimes digital it changes every time, right? So oftentimes even people that actually adopt the digital marketing procedures usually stay outdated, right? So it's always good when you are updated in digital marketing niche. So each time they call something algorithms. Each time we have new algorithms from Google, from Facebook, from other social media, it's always good for you to actually understand, okay, there's a change. For instance, I'll give you an instance. Everyone actually talks about ChatGPT right now. Yeah, I know a lot of people understand what they use ChatGPT for and stuff, but a lot of people, I will tell you, do not understand that ChatGPT, when you use it for your content in full, you're using it for your SEO, it gets flagged by Google. Before now,
Yeah.
if you go to ChatGPT, I want a blog or I want a content for let's say immigration, let's say okay, asylum, political asylum. And you go to ChatGPT, I need a blog on how to get political asylum. Of course, ChatGPT is going to give you a very robust content, a blog you can post, right? That actually works well then. But now Google have actually updated the algorithms that when you copy
Mm-hmm.
those things and fix it into your website, right? You might not rank on your SEO
Yeah.
because
You can't get
Google
away
now
with it.
has exactly Google now has this technology that can actually detect that you are using an AI, right? So they want want you to be original. So what we do is oftentimes, even if you're using ChatGPT, right, it should give you an idea of what you need to fix it. So that's just an example. A whole lot of things that the legal firm or lawyers, especially solo lawyers, need to understand about digital marketing. Talking about even my LS, it's actually one software that I feel a whole lot of solo lawyers are actually missing out on, right? Because it makes their job easier, it makes it faster, and of course, you're talking about instead of having pile up of files or having junks of different links on your drive and all, this actually is stored in one place where you can easy bring them out with ease, right? So I feel the legal practitioner, especially solo lawyers, should adopt digital tools, and I think my LS actually comes in handy in this part.
Yes. Well, my LS or my legal software is also all in one, like the one that Nadine mentioned earlier, in terms of the software has to be efficient and helpful. That is also our goal. We want to have the solo lawyers, the small firms to have their operational efficiency automated, optimized, and ready to go. We don't want them to be doing all the clerical work, the manual work, or I call it like semi-automated because they're using a digital tool but not automating it. So they're still typing everything. They're still opening different windows on their browsers instead of just going into one. When you do some changes here, it reflects on your calendar, it reflects on your it updates your client, it sends them a message, and yeah, it gives you that efficiency. Instead of doing five things, it's just one click and you're done. That's our goal here, and I think that's what every tool's goal should be. However, some of the tools could get a bit how do you call this? When you were not able to catch up with the technology, it gets chopped out. So
Mm.
that's when it starts to get inefficient. Yes. Okay. All right. I think we have a question on YouTube. It says here, Yumi, do I need to spend a fortune on digital marketing?
Okay. Right. So I think I get this question every time, right? And the thing is, a whole lot of people get scared when it comes to digital marketing, thinking it's expensive. I can tell you for
Mhm.
free that digital marketing is quite less expensive than traditional marketing. Of course, if you want to go to a
Mhm.
radio station or TV station, or maybe you want to be on some magazine or newspaper, you're going to spend a fortune to be on, the full page paper, right? With as low as $10, you can actually be online. As low as $5, $10, right? You can actually start getting your digital footprint in it. I mean, we have so many free tools, okay, that we can actually use. But you're talking about running some advertisement. Yes, as low as $10, you can actually get a whole lot of people to get to know about your business and what you do. So it's really not expensive. This depends on how much you can actually offer, right? So there's no static amount for digital marketing. It just depends on you.
Yeah. Actually, you could even go live for free. I mean, there is no charge when you want to stream and just welcome questions or talk about
Yeah.
your expertise, talk about your practice, or how you want to help people and share information. Um, Hosting does not cost you anything, and you can solo lawyers and small firms can always start from there. But at the same time, of course, if you want to, you know, add more to your business, it's like an investment.
Yeah.
If you put an investment to it, as long as you're doing it right, you're not getting into those learning curves. You're gonna get the return of investment
Hmm.
sooner or later. So yeah, I guess that's just the trick. And something that is quite intimidating, especially to those solo lawyers who's not really into technology, or rather be not early adopters, like waiting for their friends first and see, oh, does that work? Okay, all right, let's only go and they'll try. Well, I mean, unlike our guest speaker earlier, she is really fierce at the technology. Now I'm gonna try this because my friend tried it. And like, oh, I want to do
Yeah.
that. But yeah, not everyone's like that. So you also understand that. And yeah, so we are about to wrap up. To anyone who has questions, you could also book a consultation with us. It's free of charge, no commitment, no credit cards, no registration. If you have questions or you want to run something by us, or you have, like, let's say, challenges specific to either digital marketing, the tools that you're having, or you need any customization, personalization, or just specific features, because we also have lawyers who be like, oh, I just need something for my client intake, I'm having problems with my website. We are here to help you. This is exactly why we are your one-stop shop. We're your all-in-one solutions, and we are trying our best to be your go-to legal tech and to be your reliable and efficient legal partner in the technological space. So, Yumi, any last words before we wrap up?
Yes. So think digital marketing. It's not something difficult. It's I think it's a necessity now, if you actually want to get your business to the point at which you want to start making, some turnover, profits, and all, right? So think digital marketing. It saves you the stress. It saves you to saves you the monitoring. Like, it's sometimes you sit at home and you get to see how many people you've reached, messages coming in, inquiries coming in, everything just in your office. It's really a good feeling, right? You don't really have to go out somewhere, meet people and everything. Digital marketing actually is a necessity for your business. And before I go, I'll leave you with this, right? If you are not actually marketing, it's as if you are winking your eyes in the dark. No one is going to see your business, right? So if you're winking your eyes in the dark, no one sees you winking, right? Meaning, if you do not actually advertise your business, people will actually not get to know about your business. Thank
Mhm.
you.
Yes, basically, if you're not online, you're almost as good as not existing, unless it's just you're just doing it for your neighbors, which is not what our lawyers do. It's not what small firms do. They help communities and they need to be seen, and that's the best way to get out there. Other than whatever marketing they're doing in their local area, is to have a digital presence. Very well said,
Yeah.
Yumi. Thank you for that. So we are gonna wrap up from here. Thank you so much for watching us. To those who are on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. Thank you so much for staying with us. If you find this insightful, please share this with your friends. You could share this with your bar association, your communities. Um, we are going to take a break for the rest of the year. Do keep posted in case we do get a webinar for the latter part of December, but I think so far we're not having that. And we have surprises for January. If any of you has a wish list of what they want to have on a workshop, on a workshop, please let us know. We're cooking something in, which I hope would help you all. And to those who want to try our software, we have a free trial at the same time. Our website promo is still ongoing to those who are exclusively watching our webinar. So we are not announcing this anywhere. We're not announcing this anywhere other than the events that we're in and the online events that we're in. So it's still at $5.99. You get a website that's ADA compliant and has a maintenance for its first month. So all you'll have to do is pay for the recurring month, $2.99. That is going to save you a lot of money. And this $5.99 website is actually valued at 2,000. So if you're taking it from our website, that's the amount you pay, unless you go into contact us page, you go and book a demo page and just say, oh, I saw this on your webinar. This is the webinar I've watched. Then you got it. You got our discount. So yes, um, you guys know where to find us. It's at mylegalsoftware.com and at 934 Law Tech. Also, our socials, we're pretty much everywhere, at least on the major ones. So we're also on TikTok. You could also find me there and just drop us a message. Asking is free, and we are gonna see you there. So thank you so much for your time and happy Thursday. Bye bye.